Hey guys, as some of you know, this last spring we were in Korea, and while we were there we had to take our son to the pediatrician. And it was just a totally different experience as far as finances go, scheduling, all of that, when it comes to, being in America versus being there. So I just want to make this quick video to kind of explain our experiences. Obviously, I'm not going to get into all of the political and tax implications of each system, but really just our experience going to the pediatrician both in America and then also in Korea. And really it was, we were able to have a really good comparison because within 1 month we had an uninsured checkup in the US, an insured checkup in the US, and then went to Korea, had an uninsured kind of emergency visit, and then an insured emergency visit, got back to the US and had an insured emergency visit as well. So we kind of had a lot of different scenarios, all in a pretty short period of time that I think gave us a pretty good perspective on kind of how the two systems were different. Just as a little bit of background, my wife's Korean, so my son is half Korean, half American. He has dual citizenship right now. While we were there, he was just feeling pretty sick, and so went to the doctors. Korea has a socialized healthcare system, and so pretty much everyone has health insurance is really what it is. Once again, not going to get into all of the details of it, but I do know that almost all the Koreans that I know are really satisfied with the system. So just to kind of get into the numbers of it, firstly our as most of you probably know that live in the United States, if you're insured, regular checkups pretty much don't cost you anything. There might be a little bit of a sign-up fee or a new patient fee when you go to a new doctor's office, but for regular checkups they mostly don't cost anything. For an uninsured checkup, which we had a scenario where we weren't actually uninsured. Our insurance company for some reason told the doctor that we weren't covered even though we were, and so we got a bill for one of his checkups for, it was $950 something, almost $1,000, just for a regular checkup, to go in and spend a couple minutes with the doctor to have him tell Logan that he's okay. We were insured, and so even though we were insured, we got that bill, talked to the doctor, talked to my employer, talked to the insurance company. It was probably 2.5 months of just this back and forth trying to figure out all of the insurance stuff and why they were saying we weren't covered when we actually were. Eventually got worked out and it was free, just like any normal insured checkup would be. Now contrast that with when we went to Korea. When we got there, we enrolled Logan into their social medical system. We got his citizenship all squared away, and then he was just running a really high fever, had a little bit of a cough, and so we decided to take him to the doctor. Now, as far as finding a doctor, that's also super different. In the US, it always starts with, you go to your insurance company's portal and you find doctors that are in network, that are hopefully not too far away, that also have good ratings, and honestly, it's kind of a process. It's not a huge pain, but it's a little inconvenient. Whereas in Korea, because everywhere is covered the same, it's really just looking around, who's closest in my area that has the best reviews. And so, for me, the capitalist in me really liked that there was more competition, I felt like, in Korea when we were looking at, doctors, because they were able to compete based on like how well they did on quality rather than just, are they in network versus not, right? So we went, he was feeling sick. We didn't have to call ahead to get an appointment. We did call one of the other pediatricians in our area and said, hey, is there a wait time right now? They had a couple of people waiting, so we went to a different one so that we could walk right in. We walk in, fill out some forms with his name, his new social security number essentially, and then sit down maybe 5 minutes in the waiting room, and then we were talking to a doctor, pretty similar as far as, meeting with the doctor goes, what's wrong with him, does a pretty brief physical exam, and then subscribe some medicine for him. So the process was really smooth, really quick. As we went to leave, the nurses, they were like, oh, we can't find him in the system, so we can't cover him with the national insurance. And they were so apologetic. They're like, we're so sorry, like there's nothing we can really do. Call the national insurance line tomorrow and make sure that everything is squared away, but for today, like, I'm sorry, but we need you to pay the uninsured cost, and then tomorrow if you call and everything gets fixed on the insurance side, come back and we'll reimburse you. And so I was worried just because we had just had that experience of almost $1,000 in the US, and they were just like, oh, I'm so sorry that you have to pay the full amount for this emergency visit, and it came out to be around $30 for the visit. So Wasn't too bad. We did finish getting all of the insurance problems ironed out, and then we went back to get our reimbursement. So with the insurance, that emergency visit was 30 cents. So really cheap either way. Didn't really have to deal with wait times. I've gone to doctors in Korea for myself and for other people probably 5 or 6 times, not a ton over the 2.5 years that I've lived there. Never had big wait times, never really had bad service. It's always been a great experience, pretty much the same as I've had in the United States. But yeah, so having that, after we got back, Logan got sick again, and so we had not even an emergency, we need to go take him right now to Instacare or the emergency room. He was even more sick than he was when we were in Korea, really bad cough, pretty high fever. And so we called the pediatrician. They gave us some things to do at home to hopefully help out a little bit, and told us to come back the next day if we could wait. And if it was too bad, to go to Instacare or to go to the emergency room, right? Did some of the stuff that they told us to, and he fell back asleep, and so we waited for the next day. Went into the doctor's. It was technically, an emergency visit because it wasn't a regular checkup, I guess. And with insurance, that non-checkup visit was around $130. So it was $100 more, even with insurance, than the uninsured visit in Korea was. So it was really interesting seeing, those two different systems, how they both work, and kind of, getting to experience them firsthand. So thanks for listening. If you guys have any questions about, Korea, Korean culture, how to learn Korean, or even more about the Korean medical system, or, if there's anything I missed or that you're wondering about, definitely leave it down in the comments. And I'm, happy to make more videos talking about it and answering some of your questions. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.